Google can allow you to bypass OTAs where you don't have to pay big service fees if you build your business the right way. You heard how Airbnb and Google are in the middle of a war right now, where Google is starting to win a lot of business from people who used to use Airbnb, because people who are mad at Airbnb need somewhere to go and they search for hotels on Google and find out that there's vacation rentals on Google too. Google is taking Airbnb's lunch right now, meaning if you are an Airbnb host, you better be on Google. I've been teaching short-term rentals for over 6 years, and this is new school stuff. I'm super happy to teach it to you. My name's Sean Rakicic. Welcome to your video on Google Hotels. So first, what you need to know about Google. Google is a massive search engine that is growing in complexity every year. I'm sure nearly everybody who's ever bought a flight before has touched Google to buy flights. And because of this, they've expanded to car rentals and they've expanded to hotels and all this awesome search engine-based stuff. They use their web crawlers to crawl sites like United or Delta to find out what flight costs are. They'll crawl sites like Booking.com, Agoda, VRBO to find out what prices for short-term rentals are too. They work the same exact way. Now, Airbnb does not integrate with Google. So if your listings are only on Airbnb, you won't show up on Google because Airbnb is being greedy. They want to keep their Airbnb guests just on Airbnb, and they don't want to show up in some of the same places that everybody else shows up at. And I think this is why they are doing it. They're also competing in a different way. They don't want to be seen like VRBO or Booking.com. They want to really sell novelty. That's why they've got categories. They have castles and cabins and teepees and all that stuff, spaceships. They've got stuff that you go, wow, that's so cool. They want to be different than everyone else, so they're pushing categories and they're pushing rooms now. That's what they're doing. But because of this, it's really just a short fence to get on Google right away. All you have to do is be on VRBO or Booking.com or Agoda or Bring Fido or anybody like that, and you can be on Google right away. Because Google will crawl your listings on those platforms and populate them under their Google search. Easy. Super easy, meaning that all you really need is a channel manager, even some of the most basic ones. I've talked about Host Hub before, which is probably the cheapest channel manager as far as calendar connection goes, which allows you to connect VRBO and Airbnb and like Bring Fido, like some basic ones, all together using the co-host feature on Airbnb, which means it doesn't break as often, where a lot of bigger softwares break when Airbnb does an API change. Now there's other big softwares that I like, and I'll do a video later on bigger channel managers for big boys who have like hundreds of listings and stuff. But for this video, not important. You just need almost any channel manager that connects to VRBO or Booking.com and you're good. But here's the rub on that, is you will pay the service fee for VRBO or for Booking.com or for Airbnb. Whatever you're using, you'll pay your service fee for. So all Google does is get you there through somebody that you have to pay a large service fee to, which means that eventually you need to be integrated a different way. In my description, there's a link to a free resource where I give you a list of all of Google's connectivity partners that you can use to push to Google and bypass VRBO or Booking.com. While you're down there, hit the like button and the subscribe button for more. But hit that link and I'm going to email you a list. That way, if you don't want to pay Booking.com's fee or VRBO's fee, you can list on a website that allows you to have like a direct booking style platform, and they'll list to Google for you, and you're just really paying your transaction costs for collecting credit cards. And you can make your own rules, have your own house rules, have your own cancellation policies, have all of your own stuff. And people like VRBO, Airbnb, Booking.com, they're not going to be mixed up in your business telling you how to run your business. So click that link, get that list of connectivity partners, do your homework on which one you think best suits you, and get on Google that way too. In a future video, I'll give you my top Google connectivity partners because I think this is a big topic. This is a huge topic. There's probably 3 big things that you need to be focused on right now in short-term rentals. One is multi-channel connectivity, because if Airbnb continues to stumble and guests go other places, you want to be where they're going. Second is you need a compelling design style, pushing novelty. If you're on Airbnb, people want novel. And Airbnb still is the biggest player in the game. So you need something that says, hey, we're cool, stay here for a night. Now that doesn't come back to bite you elsewhere. Booking.com and VRBO, people still like cool looking spaces, so do some cool stuff with some design. And in the near future, I'm gonna do a video on like 4 really trendy, cheap ways to make your place pop. Really cool stuff coming soon. And third, you need to control your internal costs. We are a business. Investors, let me say that again. We are a business. This is not an investment. If you own an Airbnb and you have a co-host, good for you. You're investing in someone's business. You're giving them your property and they're running a business with your property, and you're relying on them to run that business profitably. So you might only be investing in a house, but that is far from the truth. If you run your own Airbnb, you know the truth of this. If you do a bad job with your pricing, you don't max your revenue. If you do a bad job with your guests, you get bad reviews and people don't come back. If you do a bad job with your design, you just don't get bookings because you look boring. right? As we run this business, we find places to optimize, and optimizing price through revenue management and internalizing your costs in-house, like your housekeepers, buying things in bulk because you get to like an economies of scale situation, streamlining operations by getting multiple properties in a very tight area, maybe even the same building, so your housekeepers take less time to clean, they're more efficient. You can have more unified storage locations instead of having a bunch of housekeeping closets all over the place. You can have one big storage area. These types of efficiencies will make you more money than your competition. And let me tell you something you may not be considering. This is a big one, guys. In our industry, short-term rentals, the barrier to entry is low. You don't have to be tenacious to get into the industry. You can be curious. You can just be curious and you can start your first Airbnb. That means that people who give up easily are in this industry, and they don't need to be losing money to want out of the industry. I've got some good friends who have some properties in West Dallas that are making less money than they used to make, because they were making money hand over fist, and now they're only making like a few $1,000s per month on their property. And because they were making $10,000 a month on their property before, they are discouraged enough that they're quitting Airbnb because the money's just not as good. How many of you would be happy to make $3,000 per month net profit on a house? I'm sure plenty of you would be. So here's my point. If you lower your internal costs and create efficiencies and become competitive, as markets get tough, people who lose money will quit, and people who just don't make enough money, they'll quit. A lot of people will quit when the market comes down because this industry is so easy to get into that it's also so easy to give up on. You didn't have to take out a big loan to buy a bunch of cars on a car lot and you have all this inventory that you have to sell or you become desolate. It's not this type of industry. It's low barrier. So if any of you were ever concerned that you wouldn't make it in this industry because times got tough, just know that there's so many more people on this planet that have more quit than you do. And they're gonna quit before you as long as you're just a little bit tenacious, and the money will come back up when they quit the business. So hang 10. If you're curious how to optimize your business in specific areas, I've got a bunch of webinars that I've recorded that are topic driven. So if you wanna learn pricing strategy, or you wanna learn the algorithm so you can place better on Airbnb, or you wanna learn arbitration so you can get Airbnb to pay back money that they owe you, or you wanna learn how to use Airbnb rooms and run a split strategy where you can rent the entire home when it's best, or rent rooms when it's best, or you wanna learn how to negotiate with landlords and get free rent and do arbitrage, or if you want to learn how to lead teams of housekeepers to lower your internal costs so you're not paying so much for housekeeping, I've got webinars for them all. And in this link, rockygeach.com/events. Almost all of them are right there. And you can take a look at all the stuff I've done recently and just pick the replay that you would like and learn one topic at a time if you'd like to learn. As we dive into Google Hotels and Google Vacation Rentals, it will become so apparent that they care about different things than Airbnb cares about, or that VRBO or Booking.com cares about. They will realize through their own data that their customers value certain things over other things, and I am sure that Google will have a different type of algorithmic representation based on your listing and its amenities or its features or your performance. There's going to be so much that Google cares about that is going to be unique to their software that VRBO and Airbnb don't care about. So stay tuned. As I study Google, as I dig in and do my nerdy stuff, I will tell you how to do the best job on Google that you can do so you can get more bookings on Google, on VRBO, on Airbnb, anywhere that you want. We're gonna make you the best Airbnb host, short-term rental operator that you can be. Subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you on the other side.